Hello everyone and welcome back to my Berserk read-through, where last time we read chapters 12 to 14, which was Precious Thing, Departure for the Front, and Engagement. And today we are continuing on with another few chapters titled Casca. So we're going to be focusing on Casca today, as we can see here, with this shot of Casca removing her armor in a, in an interesting pose. This is Casca Chapter 1. Interesting cover art as we are transported right back to where we left off last time, with the battle against very complicated, long-named legion of the Killer Whale Squad, essentially, as Guts has moved in to protect Casca from getting killed. Guts stands in the way, and Big Boy over here goes for his swing with his goddamn trident. How now, boy? You stopped my attack well, but lightning doesn't strike twice. Can you stop this? Goddamn helicopter trident. The ultimate spear technique, which can crush even marble, passed secretly down through my Cabalwitz family for 140 years. Take this! Ganzansapu! This translates as rock-cutting whirlwind. So, you get, like, in classic, he's, like, it's very interesting, because this is, like, the part of the manga where it's very shonen. Like, I must call out the name of my attack, and I am a ridiculously armored villain character. It's very shonen. Rock-cutting whirlwind! I'm going to announce the name of my attack. And Guts says, this is how I feel about shonen. Yeah! Slices right through him. He's like, stop that ridiculousness. This is Berserk. This is not shonen. Slices right through. He's like, when you go to the barber and they ask for a little bit off the top, you know. Oh, yeah, Jan. Look at that panel. Okay, fucking, oh my god, just a face straight removed, right? Face straight up removed from the body. Absolutely crazy shot. As the body then goes flying off into the distance. And he's just saying words at this point. He's trying. Ganzansenpu. Oh, awesome! He took that monster down with just 2 swings! That's our captain. Watch him go! Oh, sorry. It's hidden down the bottom. It goes Ganzansenpu. So what? What's wrong? This isn't how you usually are. Your fighting's horrible. You'll wind up dead if you're out of it. Oh, and good night, sweet prince. Casca must rest. She passes out. Hey! Our boy here, who, you know, should essentially have no face. Like, the way that, like, look how this slice worked. Look at his face. It's gone. He got deleted. Right? Like, he got lucky. Like, he slices right down on the top of his head. And then, like, it looks like he's straight up head removed from body. But here, he's just like, haha, I'm gonna pull a sneaky on you. Here's my crossbow. And as Casca is about to fall off, he takes his shots. Grabs Casca's arm, right about to save her, and arrow. Right in the abdomen. And they both tumble and fall. Ah, hell. Captain! Guts! Look at that guy's fucking face. And this is the moment where Guts learns how important it is to have a crossbow when he needs that in future. He's like, you know what I'm going to get? One day I'm going to get a crossbow arm. That's what I'm going to get. And it can shoot out goddamn cannon too while we're at it. Captain Guts! Casca! As they fall down to the river below. Guts! Casca! Boosh! Impact onto the water. Not quite a superhero landing. As the rain continues to heavily pour, the storm continues. And Guts surfaces. That armor would be like weighing him down quite a lot, as well as trying to hold on to Casca. But they surface and make it to land. I'm never doing that again. Swimming with my armor on. Yeah, exactly. Removes his armor. And he checks to see if Casca's breathing. Uh-oh. And CPR time. What's really interesting about this is when did Guts learn how to do CPR? Does Band of the Hawk have like mandatory first aid training, you think? They must have. Otherwise I don't see how Guts would have learnt how to do first aid. especially CPR. When was the technique even introduced? When did CPR begin, right? When did CPR become a thing? CPR was officially developed in 1960, and the AHA launched a program to teach physicians about closed chest cardiac resuscitation. Well, he's using the breathing technique. So, how did people save drowning victims before CPR? There were, in the mid-18th century in Amsterdam, a city of canals where approximately 400 people died annually of drowning, there was a group of people who called themselves the Society for Recovery of Drowned Victims, and they instituted procedures such as elevating the feet and applying pressure to the abdomen to try and revive them. So mouth-to-mouth resuscitation was officially recommended for drowning victims by the French Academy of Sciences, and that looks like it's got a date of around 1740. Like Berserk is a fantasy with supernatural elements, right? But even then, I just always found it very interesting that I was like, the old mouth-to-mouth resuscitation in this period of time, housed locally within this manga. I was like, okay, Guts is just built different. He knows what's up. He's just got that insight into, yeah, this will work. And it does work. He manages to resuscitate Casca. She's not necessarily waking up, but he did it. And he painfully tries and pulls that arrow out of his abdomen. Damn it, that whale bastard! Still, we're lucky to be alive, falling from up there. Hard to believe. What now? Ain't no way we can scale that cliff. How can we get back? It's so cold. He's fish bait next time I see him. High fever. Must be why she fainted. This is bad. If she stays in the rain like this. And then he looks out into the distance and he finds a little piece of shelter. Looks like a little bit of a cave. We cut back to Band of the Hawk and Griffith. Guts and Casca. It was quite a high cliff. Love how it's showing the rain bouncing off of the helmets. That's really cool. But there was a river beneath, so surely this is him we're talking about. I don't think it's anything life-threatening, at least. But whether he'd land safely or not from that height. He'd been wounded, and something was wrong with Casca. If we send out a search party, we should hurry. So Griffith, You do understand. In war, conquering the enemy is most important. To spare valuable troops from those granted by the king to confirm the life or death of, at best, a mere unit commander now would be outrageous. Furthermore, he brought this upon himself by engaging in personal combat. No, that wasn't... Besides, the Band of the Hawk's highly touted raiders, captain, and female commander are together, are they not? They ought to be able to surmount such a dilemma with ease. Certainly. If they're alive. All of these shots are so good. Like, just like how they're showing like the rain droplets and like the cold breath coming out of like all of the characters. I love that. Also, look how cool that is. Look how cool this panel of Griffith is. Love how his helmet works. It's so cool. It's so cool. With the lightning in the background. And here they are. In shelter, both alive. In a cave. It's about to get real cold, real quick. Guts is going to have to return the favor that Casca begrudgingly had to give to Guts on the day that he entered the Band of the Hawk. Now, what to do? Some of the enemies saw us fall. If I kindle a fire, it'd be like telling them where we are. And Casca can't leave here for a while yet. Can't help it. There's just no other way. I have to cuddle up to a woman. This is gross. Oh well. That's the way it is. Besides, it's not exactly the first time with her. What a pain. What the hell is she thinking anyway? Just don't wake up. Going into battle with a fever? This is why women don't have any sense. He's like, blood on my hands. What is this? Blood? Did the idiot get wounded? Sudden realization from Guts. Silly face Guts. This is so rare. This is seeing like Guts having like an expression that's like that silly anime face is very funny. Because then he looks so innocent all of a sudden. He's just like a clueless boy in the world who like doesn't know what a period is, but he knows how to do mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. You know, he's got the important things down, right? So that's it. Puts blood on his cheek. So that's it. Must be rough being a woman. God damn it, Guts. Wash your hands. And then he sits. And this panel was great. And stands guard. Warming Casca. Trying to do his duty and protect her as well. And that is the end of chapter 1 of Casca. And we'll be moving into the 16th chapter. So we're on chapter 16 because obviously it changed publications and the chapter count reset. But it's very interesting. We're already 32 chapters in from reading the 0 chapters. Only 340 or 350 something to go. We'll get there. We'll get through it. And then we've got a flashback to the beginning of Casca chapter 2. Whether you come along or not is your decision. You know how to fight already, don't you? But cool. Here's our Casca origins. She had longer hair, which is cool. But and she wakes up. Yo. Yo, I'm hip with it. I know all of this modern slang too. Guts is like a time paradox. He's from the future. She wakes up covered in leaves for warmth. Nature's blanket. Where? A cave by the river. Luckily, falling into the river saved us. River? What the heck? You don't remember a thing? After I had it out with that whale jerk, you lost your footing and fell off the cliff. You're pretty easy going, considering we almost drowned. Stupid! Lie down for now, the fever ain't done dropping yet. She gets back up. What could I do? You were soaking wet and freezing to death to boot. What's that look for? Here. Boosh! Punches Guts right in the cheek. Ow! What are you doing that for? That hurt a ton. Here I saved you, and now... And Casca proceeds to throw... throw everything out of the cave. Hey, cut that out! And the knife, for good measure, the dagger, thrown into the tree. She's exhausted and out of breath. Hello? You finished now? You hysteric bitch? I ain't trying to lord this over you, but I'm the one who almost died dragging you out on the river with armor on. Instead of one word of thanks, you hurl a knife at me? If you weren't a woman, I'd knock your jaw right out of that joint. Right out of joint for that. I can't stomach it. A woman playing at being a knight. Women are inferior to men in strength. What use could they be in a battle? Perhaps you even achieved your rank of commander by sneaking into that man Griffith's bedroom. This is what's running through Casca's mind from Guts' comment about, hey, if you weren't a woman, and then flashes back to, you know, it's like there's two different comments about females there, which is one is almost backhanded. It's like backhanded misogyny, and then the other one is just straight up misogyny, where it's just like, if you weren't a woman, I'd punch you in the face. Being like, the only thing stopping you from being punched in the face is because you're a woman. And then the other one is just straight up like bad mouthing it. So that's what she's going to be thinking of. You're always so damn ready to be pissed about something. This is why women ain't cut out to be warriors. And then he goes and repeats. He's essentially echoing what he's just said because Guns is pissed off. What? I wasn't born a woman because I wanted to be. Now she's crying. Hey, sorry. Not that I really get it. And Casca goes for another punch. Guts grabs the fist this time, though. Son of a... You really are some kind of bitch. Calm your ass down. Don't make me force you. Let go. Huh? Hey. I told you. She proceeds to drop down onto the ground because of this goddamn fever. Here. Put this on. I was wearing it, so it's dry already. What? You still crying? Oh, shut up. Look away. It's pathetic. You're the only one I didn't want to be saved by. She really hates me. Shouldn't have saved her. So, speaking of which, why'd you join the Band of the Hawk? Like I said before, ain't it rough for a woman? Fighting for a living? If you don't want to say it, then whatever. Griffith. It's Griffith. My home village was poor and nestled in a mountain ravine. The land was barren, and we couldn't really grow much besides oats. Even so, we were bled dry by taxes for the war effort. Having to go 3 days without any food was a common thing. People even starved to death in winter. Because the village was near the border, it was often involved in skirmishes. When that happened, all we could do was hide in the mountains and watch silently as our houses and fields were ravaged. It was just like with any other village. We were all used to being robbed and walked over. I thought too much that such a way of life was just natural. I too thought that such a way of life was just natural. One day, a nobleman who happened to pass through the village on a long ride caught sight of me. The nobleman approached my parents saying he wanted me for a castle maid. While my father was reluctant, he accepted the offer. There was no other practical answer. My family had 6 children, and strangely none of us had starved to death by then. I think it was the natural choice for my father to lose his youngest daughter, who wasn't much use as a worker, and yet another mouth to feed. But en route to the castle, we have, just more fucked up stuff happening. We don't really need to talk about it. Chase down the hill, attempted to grab. It was obvious when you think about it. This was his aim from the beginning. There's no nobleman whimsical enough to go out of his way to save a destitute girl he's never even seen before. I can't help it. It's natural. Those 2 ideas were always in my heart to help me stay connected to reality. But just then, a flick of the sword, the ear has been removed. Which I love what that represents. Cutting off the ears of the guilty. We see that in a lot of other media that's like fantasy related, like taking the ears of your victims type deal. And then we have this beautiful shot of the sun rays shining down on our heavenly Griffith, about to pass honest justice onto this nobleman, who is the complete opposite of being noble, because this is absolutely horrific. Absolutely horrific how this happens. Does being born of the nobility mean that you're chosen by God? So strange. It was as if the image of some saint adorning the wall of my village church had just come to life. He was awe-inspiring, an otherworldly spectacle. I thought God had taken pity on this miserable, powerless girl and sent an angel. That's how it seemed for an instant to me at 12 years old. But what that angel extended to me wasn't a fairy tale-like helping hand in my time of need. Throws the sword down between Casca's legs. If you have something to protect, take up that sword. The nobleman obviously rushes to grab said sword. Casca goes for it as well. And they struggle. Casca thrusts the sword right through his chest. And with that, Griffith has not only saved Casca from a traumatic event, but caused a different type of traumatic event, which is a preteen's first kill. After a very, very dangerous encounter. She stares at the blood on the sword. I was afraid. I don't know whether I stabbed him or if he fell on the blade by himself. In any case, I killed someone for the first time. I was so afraid I couldn't speak or move from that spot. I was never going to let go of the sword with blood dripping from it. And as Griffith has dismounted his horse, puts a kind hand on Casca's firm grip. He just nodded, deeply and slowly, but that was the real helping hand he extended to me. The fear didn't vanish completely, but the feelings of guilt and regret faded. His magnificence and the warmth of the blanket he gave me filled my heart. Griffith, we're finished over here. Huh? I believe that's the silhouette of Judo. At least it looks like it. Are these people robbers? Ah, wait. What should I do? Do as you wish. Let me. Yeah, it is Judo. 100%. Let me come with you. On impulse, those words sprang from my mouth. Hey, don't joke around, girlie. We ain't just some thieves. We're collecting war funds so we can eventually set up an army. Yeah, Judo. Why do I forget his name all the time? Caucus and Pippin. I always forget Caucus's name. How can we fight with women and kids along? I can't go back to my village. If I go back alone and unhurt, the official will never believe that you aided me. He's the same as the nobles. I don't know what I'd use as an excuse when they'd question me. Besides, it would be a burden on my family. Please, if you tell me to learn the sword, I will. So... Whoa, she's serious. You might die, you know. Didn't I tell you? Do as you wish. She nods, and Griffith smiles. Whether you come along or not is your decision. You know how to fight already, don't you? But you were the one who gave me the sword and the blanket. That's the end of Casca number 2, which is also the ending of volume 6. It's the ending of volume 6. So we will be moving into volume 7 and Casca chapter 3. So we'll let this one load. There we go. Cover of volume 7, which is pretty cool. Very interesting, because I don't think Guts uses a shield at all. But he's posing with one on this one. Maybe we'll see him pick up a shield. I love the imagery of the sword with the wings. So, volume 7, Casca, chapter 3. And that's such a cool shot. The rage and the line work there on Guts is so cool. And this is a long one too. There's a long one with a lot of chapters in here. So let's get to reading Casca, chapter 3. Everything changed that day. How I thought, how I lived, everything. From a life I continually endured to a life of fighting to succeed. The paltry dining table by the fire with my family around became a glorious battlefield adjoined by death and blood. Casca, chapter 3. Since that day, the day I met Griffith, even now I feel it's been one long dream. Back then, I idolized Griffith. He was like some prophet or saint. In effect, that's what he was to us. We were a ragtag band of commoners with no backing, ever victorious on the battlefield, fighting like some miracle. And most importantly, leading us was a young man who could still be called a boy in his innocence, when in reality he wasn't a noble or knight even, but a commoner like the rest of us. A miracle, yes. In my eyes, that's exactly what Griffith was. After a while, I somehow carved out a life as a soldier. At that time, the Hawks became involved in a certain feudal lord's dispute. He was said to be a man of fame, a wealthy man intimately involved in sovereign affairs. But the worst rumors about him didn't involve his assets, rather his sordid tastes. What is this? I don't remember this being told at all. I don't remember Casca telling this story in the anime. I literally have no recollection of this, so it was either not included or I've just forgotten. As attendants, he would employ children from neighbouring villages, nearly all boys, who met his tastes. In truth, they were imprisoned within his castle as pleasure slaves. They would be at his side, children with eyes vacant of all but fear. I guess these days that's not such a strange sight, but to be honest, it sent a chill down my spine, a heart-rending sense of fear and disgust. I had almost become like that once. Then we just have Griffith's calming hand on her shoulder to bring her back, but oh my god, man. Berserk really deals with like some very like heavy-handed elements. That's for sure. Like it doesn't like shy away from those things. It doesn't. There's a word that I'm looking for. Like it doesn't. It really just highlights some of the worst parts of humanity, and stuff that is very real as well. It doesn't trivialize it. It doesn't dismiss anything. It doesn't try and excuse anything. Like it's very confrontational stuff, but it's very real, and it's handled quite realistically. And a couple of things that we've seen before that while it's very hard to read through some of this stuff and see these things and the implications of it. It's certainly not, like I said, it's not trivialized. They don't make light of it. It's treated very seriously, and we can tell with how Casca is narrating this story as well, that it's like this is just like the part of humanity that is unsupervised and fucked up, to be honest. But just like that time, by putting his hand on my shoulder, just from that, I mysteriously stopped trembling. Afterwards, following several skirmishes, he was a boy who had joined the Band of the Hawk half a year before then to train to be a soldier. Arrow deep in his chest at this point, with a very beautiful shot of Griffith looking down on his body. He was about 10 years old, and I don't know his name. He didn't really stand out enough to be noticed. Here's the problem as well with like this type of era, is because everything's so messed up, children either end up in slavery or as soldiers, like fighting. They don't get to be children. And we see that obviously in both Guts and Casca, how they were raised, and the circumstances that led them to Griffith. There was no one to recognize the remains of this nameless soldier in training among the countless fallen. That is, no one but Griffith. Griffith, what's that? This boy's belongings. It was a toy knight, scuffed, dirty, and missing a leg. Griffith? A toy. On the battlefield. He must have greatly admired knights. I remember him well. He'd gaze at me as if I were the hero of some story. I wonder if he was happy. Dreaming. Did he die enchanted by his dream? Or was death the end of the dream? Was it despair? Maybe my dream is what killed this boy. Damn. I couldn't find the words to speak. I'd never seen Griffith like that before. Never so somber. But ever since then, I've started viewing Griffith differently. Then, one evening upon returning to the castle... Griffith? Griffith? And then he comes and looks down from his window. A shadowy figure approaches from behind him. What? 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 Sorry, I'm just gonna scroll. I'm just looking back a bit. At that time, the Hawks became involved in a certain feudal lord's dispute. He was said to be a man of fame, a wealthy man intimately involved in sovereign affairs. Involved in a dispute. What is going on here? Hey, you're kidding, right? You mean Mr. Ball of Pride? Come dawn that morning, I couldn't sleep and was wandering along the river near the castle. Why not join me? It feels nice. As Casca turns away and tries to leave from Griffith bathing in the river. Am I dirty? Why? Why were you alone with him before? You're right. My mistake, huh? That last night. A war council or something. So, no. You're not mistaken. Why? Why? Why would you with someone like him? Money. Huh? An army consumes so much money just being. Men, horses, equipment, provisions, none of it is free. And the Band of the Hawk will grow larger and larger. It has to. For that too, we need a vast amount. War funds. In any case, I seemed to appeal to that old man. And I was interested in his fortune. Our interests coincided. Yeah, but still. Aren't we doing well enough now? At this rate, if we can just keep winning, we'll eventually raise enough. It would take too long. Besides, with every battle fought, I lose more troops. Casca instantly thinks about the 10-year-old boy. And so Griffith really do be like, hey, you're pretty messed up, but you're also rich. Can I have some money, please? And in exchange for favors, which is gross. Griffith, is this because of that boy? No. I thought about it logically. To go to battle 10 times and lose hundreds of soldiers, or to seduce one old man, which is lesser the risk? Casca, listen. I don't feel at all responsible for my comrades who've lost their lives under my command. I guess it's because they themselves chose to fight. Griffith? That's just the way I am. This is like Griffith is like grabbing his arm and essentially self-harming by ripping away at his own skin. I don't think yeah, I think he's saying one thing but definitely thinking another. But if for their sakes, for the sake of the dead, if there's something I can do. Griffith, blood. That thing is to win. I'll keep winning, to fulfill my dream to which they cling, putting their lives on the line. Griffith, stop it! My dream can only be realized by building upon their corpses. It's a blood-smeared dream after all. Stop! I have neither regret nor remorse about that, but for hundreds, thousands of lives to hang in the balance and myself alone not to be unclean. What I want won't enter my grasp so easily as that. Casca rushes into the water to stop him from carving open his own arm. And holds him. As he's done it on both arms too. Stop it. Just stop. I'm alright. It's nothing. The Griffith who turned around to put his hand on my shoulder was the same Griffith as ever once more. Just then, that filled me with sadness. Griffith persists in trying to realize a kind of dream that most people abandoned long ago as a childish yearning. But the dream he's chasing is so genuine and extraordinary that the burden must be immeasurable. A strong person, it's simple just to sum it up with those words, but I think that someone who wants to accomplish something grand endures that much more than other people. It's not that he is strong. Griffith has to make himself strong. I don't remember any of this. I remember Casca and Griffith in the anime having their conversations about stuff, but I do not remember if there was these flashbacks involved. I'm completely blanking on whether I've seen that before. I want to be by his side. If he's going to sacrifice everything for his dream, if his dream is to fight and cut away his own path, then I want to be his sword. That is the end of Casca, chapter 3, with an image of guts at the end. So the next chapter, which is chapter 18, is going to be a brand new one, which is Prepared for Death. Chapter 1. So guys, thank you. Sorry, not chapter 1. Sorry, chapter 18. But chapter 1 of Prepared for Death. So guys, thank you so much for coming along and reading through with me some more Berserk. This episode has been uploaded earlier than before, as I'm trying to see if I can get a couple of these out a week, at least for now. So while we've been releasing them at the end, pretty much at the end of each week, I'll be trying and releasing an episode in the middle of the week as well, so we can start reading through chapters much faster. I hope you guys have enjoyed the Casca, the slight Casca storyline, as it looks like we're heading back into battle next time. But very interesting and confronting stuff in this chapter, in those previous chapters. Griffith is just like such a complex character. There's so much going on behind those eyes sometimes, and I'm very excited to continue reading. So guys, thank you so much for watching along and reading along with me, and I will see you next time.